Hello, and thanks for joining me. Like everyone, I've been watching Donald Trump's unrelenting war with the American media, and I'd like to share some thoughts with you on that. Have a listen to this. They're the actual direct words of the President of the United States as he tapped them out, presumably in the early hours of the morning. The lamestream media is, not very grammatical, doing everything within their power to foment hatred and anarchy. As long as everyone understands what they're doing, that they are fake news and truly bad people with a sick agenda, we can easily work through them to greatness. And this, I'm running against the radical left do-nothing Democrats and their partner, the real opposition party, the lamestream fake news media. They are vicious and crazy, but we will win. Not surprisingly, sizable numbers of perfectly normal people who might otherwise make their own minds up about politics and the media, or have no view at all for that matter, repeat Donald Trump's mantra. The other day, a television reporter from New York State, Kevin Veazey, went to cover an anti-lockdown demo on Long Island and tweeted video of the crowd, mostly middle-class people, shouting at him, "You are the enemy of the people. You're fake news. We all know about your liberal agenda. You're the virus. You're disgusting." And Donald Trump himself saw this and retweeted it with the words, "People can't get enough of this. Great people." Not surprising, perhaps, that during the rioting that's been going on in the US, some policemen and women who must read the president's tweets have taken to arresting reporters, cameramen and photographers, even though they have all the necessary credentials to be there. And sometimes they've beaten them up. Why? Well, if the President of the United States says the press is fomenting hatred and anarchy, then why not? Donald Trump's the 11th president I've reported on. Not a single one of the previous 10, starting with John F. Kennedy, would have dreamt of saying this kind of thing about the American press and television. Various presidents have suffered the lash of criticism from the US media, Nixon obviously, but also Ronald Reagan, Clinton, and also George W. Bush. But they would never have gone public about it in such a violent way. Nixon loathed the media and said so privately, but in those far-off days it would have seemed shocking, unpresidential, undignified even, if he'd said publicly what Donald Trump tweets and says on a daily basis. So why does he say these things? Because it's a hugely successful way of deflecting criticism. That's why. It means you don't have to argue your case or disprove what's said about you. You can just brush it off. Fake news. Truly bad, evil people with a sick agenda. Public debate in America has never recovered from Ronald Reagan's decision back in 1987 to make the US Federal Communications Commission drop its fairness doctrine. The doctrine meant that broadcasters, though not newspapers, had to treat controversial subjects in a way which was honest, equitable, and balanced. Ever since, American political discussion has increasingly taken on a hostility, a sheer nastiness that hadn't been seen for decades, possibly not since the American Civil War, and it's getting worse. It's this kind of anger that made Donald Trump president. He's not going to stop now with another election just a few months away. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.